Today we are talking all things Hyatt on the podcast. And if you've been listening for a while, you know this is our absolute favorite hotel brand. And if you've been curious about trying it out, this is going to be the episode for you. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Rhea.
And I'm Dwayne.
And we are your hosts of the Travel Party of Five podcast, where we share how we travel as a family of five around the world.
We will also share how we use points and miles to travel as affordably as possible and sometimes even completely free.
So if you're wanting to travel more with your family, but you're not sure how, we'd love for you to listen in.
So welcome to our podcast, where we hope you learn a thing or two to get you closer to your next trip.
Hello and welcome back.
Welcome back. We appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you for joining in. Today we are talking, I'm excited for today because this is my favorite hotel brand to talk about, to stay at. And I felt for the last
research.
I didn't even need to do that much research because I know all about Hyatt. I know all the things, I think. And so the last few episodes were a little difficult for me. I normally get really excited, and this podcast is easy for me because I have a lot of this knowledge in my brain, but
very smart.
I did not have all the knowledge about Marriott and IHG and Hilton rewards programs. So I had to do a lot of research beforehand on those. And so I'm really excited because today's episode is fun for me to talk about. I don't know if it's fun for you to listen. I don't even know if it's fun for Dwayne, but I'm excited. So let's get into it. So again, we're talking all things Hyatt today. So the World of Hyatt loyalty program is probably one of the best elite status programs out there. And we've mentioned NerdWallet on this podcast a few times. They have a really good comprehensive list of different articles about all types of hotel loyalty programs and credit card points and whatever you could want to know. And they ranked it the best hotel loyalty program. So they ranked Hyatt number 1. The only downside about Hyatt is it has a much smaller footprint than, say, a Marriott or a Hilton. So Hyatt has, I think it's around 1,100 or 1,200 properties in its portfolio around the world. So it is significantly smaller than some of the other ones that we've talked about.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Does this number include the 700 Mr. and
I don't think so.
Mrs. Smith properties they just acquired?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it does not. And we're going to talk about that later in this episode. So that's a good question. So as far as Hyatts that you may know, most of them have Hyatt in the name. So Grand Hyatt, Park Hyatt, Hyatt Regency. But there are a few other brands that you might not know are Hyatts, like Secrets, Miraval, which is like the fancy spa type property, Destination Hotels, and Thompson Hotels. So those are also all Hyatts. And there are more, but I just picked out the ones that I thought people might recognize. You want to talk about the different status levels?
Sure. There are 4 levels. The lowest being just a member.
I mean, again, that's just where you go on their website and you sign up for the free account.
The next is Discoverist, then it's Explorist, and then it's Globalist, which we are trying to achieve this year.
Yes, we will achieve it. I have charted a path to it. I think, so a lot of times I'm in a bunch of Hyatt Facebook groups, and I like to look in there for reviews on different properties, especially if we're going to go to a certain city. I'll search in there to find out which ones are the best ones. And people like to ask, okay, I'm Discoverist status with Hyatt, or I'm Explorist status with Hyatt, and what does that get me? So I can say we are Explorist status right now, and it doesn't really get you anything.
Yeah, not very much.
Yeah, unless you like bottled water at check-in. You get 2 bottled waters every day you stay as an explorist, and like it'll say like room upgrades, but it is like it might be maybe a better view room than the one you booked, but you're not going to get upgraded to a suite.
Isn't there a separate line at check-in too that
Maybe
you can get into?
There might be, yeah. But that's about it. So bottled water and maybe a better view. When we were in New York City last summer, remember they upgraded us? Well, they said they upgraded us to a slightly bigger room. And then we went in the room and we were like, this is the bigger room.
Mind you, is NYC. So,
I mean, yeah, rooms are small.
But they upgraded us to a bigger room and it was still pretty small.
It was pretty small. So we were just chuckling. So it doesn't get you a ton. And so unless you can hit globalist status, I wouldn't stress about it. I would just go about your business. There's only 2 Hyatt cards. So all the other programs, I feel like they had 3, 4, 5, maybe even more cards to earn Hyatt points. Hyatt has 2, but there's a reason they have 2. So the first one is just the World of Hyatt personal card, and the second one is the World of Hyatt business card. They both have pretty similar sign-up bonuses, around 65 to 75,000 points. So let's first, I think, talk about the personal card, and then we can talk about the business card. The personal card has an annual fee of $95, and you get 5 Elite Night credits towards your next tier of status every year just by holding the card. You also get an annual free night certificate at any category 1 through 4 Hyatt, and we'll talk about what the categories mean in a minute. You don't get that when you first open the card. You get it on your account anniversary. So you got to plan for it being 1 year from whenever you open the card. You can also earn a second free night by spending at least $15,000 on the card during a calendar year. And then you can also earn elite nights through card spending. So for every $5,000 you spend, you earn 2 qualifying nights towards status. And I should add that spending on the card is part of how we are going to get to globalist status this year. Not on the personal card, really, but on the business card. So let's talk about the business card. Has an annual fee of $199, and it does not come with a free night, which is a little bit of a bummer, but you do earn qualifying elite nights through card spend. So for every $10,000 you spend on the card, you get 5 qualifying nights towards your status. So what that looks like is, to earn globalist status, you need 60 nights, 60 nights. And so if you...
Which is a lot.
It's a lot. So like, let's say you have, I don't know, 40 nights that you're going to stay in a Hyatt. Okay. So then you have 40 and you need to get 20 more. Okay. So you could get 5 from having the personal card. So now you're at 45. And then if you spend $30,000 on the World of Hyatt business card, you would earn another 15 qualifying nights, which would bring you to 60. So again, status is not something you should be chasing if you don't travel a lot. And I just want to be super clear about that.
And if you don't spend a lot.
Right. Yes. You don't want to spend more than you normally would just to get this, because that defeats the whole purpose.
Yep. In addition to the sign-up bonuses, you can earn from the 2 World of Hyatt cards that you have. You can also earn Hyatt points from those Chase cards. All the Chase Business Inks, except for the Premier, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, all earn flexible points that can be transferred to Hyatt, which is great. Hyatt also has an award chart, which means points prices are determined by the category the hotel falls into. This is a big difference from, say, Marriott, Hilton, or an IHG, who do the dynamic pricing. Basically, the points for those brands are directly related to the cash price and change often.
Yes. So the award categories range from category 1 to category 8. Category 1 being kind of like the lowest budget friendly, and category 8 being incredible luxury. So prices for a standard room award starting with a category 1 are going to be around 5,000 points per night, all the way up to around 40,000 points per night for a category 8.
So like what's a category 1?
Like a Hyatt place.
And what would be a category 8?
A Park Hyatt, New York City would be like a category 8. So not all Hyatt places are category 1. Some of them are category 2 or 3. It depends on where they're located. Like there's only one category 1 in all of Arizona, and it's in Tucson. But so in addition to like the 5,000 points a night for a category 1, there is also on peak and off peak pricing. So 5,000 is the midpoint, and an off peak price for a category 1 Hyatt is 3,500 points a night. Regular is 5,000, and then on peak is 6,500 points. So the absolute lowest you could get a Hyatt hotel for is 3,500 points a night, which is so incredibly cheap. I don't think you will ever find a Marriott, an IHG, or a Hilton that is 3,500 points a night. Like no shot. So really good value for families depending on where you're going. You mentioned this earlier, and so here is where I think it's worth noting that Hyatt just announced a partnership with Mr. and Mrs. Smith Hotels. And so this expands Hyatt's footprint, and I believe is meant to replace the partnership they had that just ended with the brand Small Luxury Hotels. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith properties can now be booked on points as of a few weeks ago, but so they're not following the fixed award chart for categories. Instead, they're doing dynamic pricing for this brand specifically. And so at first glance, when I was looking, these do not seem to be a great deal considering what you can get at a regular Hyatt. Like some of them are 80,000 points a night, which is much more on par with a Marriott. But I mean, you could get 2 nights at the Park Hyatt in New York City for 80,000 points a night. So to spend all that on one night, I don't know, it would have to be a really incredible property. And I'm not saying that they're not, but I don't know. They're not on my radar to book for now anyways, which is unfortunate because I was really excited to see. It's been anticipated for a long time. So we've talked a lot about the different statuses, and we've talked about our quest for globalist status this year. So we'll talk a little bit about what the benefits are for Hyatt globalists. Number 1 is free breakfast for whoever's staying in the room, up to 4 people, I believe. I'm curious to see if when we go to Europe and we only have 3 people in the room, I'm curious if they're going to let us use it for all of us. We'll see. You also get free club access if the hotel offers it. So some hotels will have like a club lounge, and usually you can go in there and get breakfast in the morning. And then they also usually have like snacks and appetizers at
like
night.
Good snacks though.
Yes. So yes. You also get upgrades to a standard suite if available. And in addition to just requesting a free upgrade at check-in, you also get a certain amount of suite upgrade awards that you can apply beforehand to your stay, up to 7 nights. One award can be used for up to 7 nights as long as they're in a row at the same property. And this is a great way to guarantee a suite if you need one. So this is our plan for when we go to Europe next year. Is I have 2 rooms booked at each property we're staying at, and my plan is to apply a suite upgrade to one of them so that we can hopefully all fit in one room.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes. But the benefit of that is you don't have to wonder and hope that you're going to get it. You can apply it beforehand and know that it's guaranteed.
And we're booking 2 rooms in Europe because they're they're way more strict on occupancy there.
Yes. In the U.S., we cram into 1 room whenever possible, at least for now. And for reference, our kids are 10 and younger. So the other cool thing about globalist status is waived resort fees. And that's on any point stay regardless. Like you don't pay you don't pay resort fees, but if you were paying cash for a room, you would not pay the resort fee as a globalist. And then there's also no parking fees on points stays specifically for globalist.
Which can add up.
It can add up a lot. Sometimes it's $50 a night.
60 at the Grand Manchester. Well,
oh yeah, that's crazy.
That was valet though.
That's so crazy. That's insane. You could get a whole hotel for that. I mean, not a nice one, but you could. So the reason that we are aiming for globalist status this year is, number one, we have about 30 nights booked, or we will, at Hyatt's next year. And almost all of those are international properties where we are going to be staying for probably 2 weeks. So 2 weeks in Europe, and we're hoping for close to 2 weeks in Japan. And so free breakfast every day is going to be an incredible savings.
Yes, incredible.
Not to mention, if there's a club lounge we can get dinner at some nights also. That will save us a ton of money too.
Yep.
The other thing that's really cool about Hyatt that I don't think other brands have is they have something called Hyatt Bingo. So when you go into your Hyatt app, Hyatt has a lot of different brands. And we mentioned some of them. They have Grand Hyatts, they have Hyatt Regencies, there's Park Hyatts. And one of the cool things that you can do is it's called Brand Explorer, technically is the technical term for it. I think of it like Hyatt Bingo, because every 5 brands that you stay at, you earn 1 free night. So right now we've stayed at 3. We've stayed at Hyatt Regency, Hyatt Place, and Hyatt House. And so once I hit 2 more brands, I'm going to earn a free night that I can use at any category 1 through 4 Hyatt. So I'm actually going to hit that next month. I'm going to hit that in May, because we're staying at an Unbound property, which is Hyatt, and I'm staying at a Hyatt Centric, which is another one. And so that is really exciting. And so when I look in my app, there are, let me just count really quick, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 20, 29. There's 29 different brands.
It's a lot.
Yes. And so that's technically 5 nights you could earn for free once you stay at all of them. And so, yeah, love that.
Well, hopefully the Mr. and Mrs. Smith makes it 30.
Well, no, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is already on here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how they do that when it's not an even number of 5, but I don't know. We're nowhere near that yet. So, just another kind of fun perk. It's like playing a game, you know? Okay, lastly, let's talk about a few exciting Hyatts that I think would be really amazing to stay at. One we're actually going to stay at in a few months, which is the Grand Hyatt Kauai.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things there.
I've heard the property's huge.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and I've heard that the employees there have all been there for quite some time.
Long time, yeah. We have a club access award that someone so kindly gifted to us that we applied to that stay. So we'll be
shout out to them.
We'll be able to check out that club lounge too, which is going to be really good because food in Hawaii is expensive and there's no way around it.
But so good.
Yes, it is so good. Another one. So this hotel we also stayed at in New York City. We already mentioned it actually. This was like, there's an article that came out sometime last summer that listed like the 24 best Hyatts in the world. And this was one of them. And it's the Beekman in New York City. Do you remember that? It came out right before we went there.
Yeah, I do. And I mean, the hotel was great. This is the one where we got upgraded to a bigger room, but really wasn't that big, but still very nice. The bathroom was
nice.
Yeah. Really nice.
I don't know that I would put it on like the best Hyatts in the world list, if I'm being totally honest, but it was very nice. And the restaurant in the lobby and like the bar area, it made me feel like I was in the 1920s.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun, like the roaring 20s in a good way. I mean that in a good way. Okay, a few other ones that we have not been to, but are on my list. Like so many things on my list. Alila Ventana Big Sur. So this is an all-inclusive property in California. It's actually closed right now because the road to get to it like disintegrated or something.
Really?
Yes, but this property is incredibly beautiful. No kids allowed. So I think it's adults only. And if you book in advance, you can usually find rooms for 45,000 points a night. But again, this is an all-inclusive. So that's a high number of points, but it covers everything for you. So I've heard it's just incredible for couples. And I've been wanting to go for a while. I just haven't been able to part with that amount of points. And then 2 other ones are the Park Hyatt Sydney. This actually has a beautiful view of the famous Sydney Opera House. And the Park Hyatt Maldives. The Maldives with the overwater bungalow is just something that
looks amazing.
Amazing. We would love to do that in maybe probably 2 more years when our kids are a little bigger and we can leave them for longer. Because right now our youngest is 4. So we try not to go away for more than like 5 days at a time. And the Maldives is like a 24-hour travel day alone. So anything else you'd like to add about
Oh no,
Hyatt?
I mean just we love Hyatts and
we love them.
Yeah,
like
they're on the top of our list for sure.
When we stay at a Hyatt, it feels comforting to me because I know exactly what to expect and I'm rarely disappointed, I would say. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know, comfort and trust when I go to the Hyatt brand. And like, we should add, this is not any kind of a sponsored like podcast. Hyatt has no idea who we are. But,
no idea.
But we love it. So if you have a fun Hyatt stay coming up, I would love to hear more about it. I always love to learn about new properties and places and destinations. Would absolutely just recommend finding us on Instagram and sending me a DM. We are at Travel Party of 5 on Instagram, and we would love a follow as well. Yeah, we will catch you guys on the next one.
All right. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Bye.